Alright guys, welcome to the very first bot review video on the channel. I of course am the Awesome Soul, and I today am here to show off Trodden Thread 97's bot, and that would be the TruthWay. Of course, the information is on screen now, and this, as stated in episode 300, is basically just a casual sort of video. Or I'm taking more of a casual approach to these videos, rather. And basically they're just here to give my thoughts on the bot, give some pointers to people, and maybe show the creator of the bot how to improve, as well as also you guys. So you can get tips on what they might have done wrong or right, and you can add that to your bots as well. So this being the first episode, hopefully you enjoy the series. If there are any pointers that you would like me to add to, or any topics you would like to cover in these videos, or certain things you would like to point out, of course, let me know. So, the bot itself, upon first glance, it is a 830 odd CPU bot, sort of in that range, and it is more focused on support rather than offense, as it only really has 2 lasers. However, they are the laser disintegrators. And it's not bad. At this low CPU, or the bot you should be facing, rather, will be pretty small, generally this size, or a little bigger, because this thing is also packing a disk shield module. Not quite sure what this guy is doing, but good on you. Interesting tactic. Can we fend them off? Yes, we can. Alright. So yeah, it's packing a disk shield module, as well as 2 nanobeams, so it's definitely sort of tiered towards support, rather than offense. Well, that was interesting. Let me just right myself here, and, well, I'm dead. Gotta love those Tesla blades. Just real nice. So, all in all, the bot does seem a little frail, in my opinion. It has far too many rods than I think is necessary, because the rods only connect in 2 ways, as opposed to a cube, which connects in 6 ways? 4 faces? 6 faces, yep, 6 ways. I can math. Anyways, it is also, at the very front there, you can sort of see the spikes. Those are blocking the nanos from firing directly forward. And if you have camera control steering, that can cause a lot of problems. So what I would recommend is either removing the spikes, adding the spikes to, I guess, the very front, although those could affect the lasers, however. So I guess your best bet would simply be removing them and using the CPU for something else. You could always use them for more cubes if you need them. Now, I guess the flags, it's not such a bad idea. I mean, cosmetics are very nice, but when you're at this low CPU, I would recommend using the CPU that you have for something quote-unquote more important, such as weapons. And I mean, cosmetics are only 1 CPU a pop, so if you've packed on everything and say you only have, I don't know, 10 CPU to work with, then yeah, go for cosmetics. But if you're focusing on cosmetics as your main thing, and then working on weapons around that, not the best plan of action. Not saying that's what you did for your sort of design philosophy here, as I'm just pointing out a general tip. So when it comes to the actual disk shield itself, it is pretty good to have on this thing. Mainly because, again, it's a low CPU bot, but it's packing a legendary item. So that's something that most people will not have, and that's definitely something that is good to basically give you an advantage over others. Now, the downside of it, however, is because you have such a low CPU pool to work with, you are spending the vast majority of it in a single part. So that could be a slight problem you basically have to build your bot entirely around this one object. At least more so than, say, with max CPU bots. So, here we are in the garage, and like I said before, these rods here are not really necessary. I mean, in the vast numbers that you have them here. Especially since I believe this rod here doesn't even connect to anything. So it doesn't really provide a whole lot. That's mainly just for looks. And I mean, if you want looks, go for it. But, you know, functionality is also quite important. Now, as I pointed out in the video, yes, indeed, this most definitely does actually block the shot here. So if you wanted to, you could mount the spike on the very front, make this a full cube, mount it there. And the alien mask isn't really causing any problems. It's fine as is, not blocking any of the shots, even with these ones. Because you've got two, and usually you'll be far enough from your target where they don't have to aim so close. Shooting behind you will also cause a bit of a problem when it comes to the nanos, but if you have camera control steering with the tank tracks, they will automatically aim you forward. So it's not that big of a deal. And I guess in some way, the flags do provide some protection, kind of, because it will shoot the flag and then channel the damage into the blocks, rather than firing straight onto the gun. Now, it's not really the best form of protection, but I guess it is a form of protection. The other thing, too, I would like to add, is this back section here. It is not really connected by a whole lot, and doesn't really provide much protection, if any. So what I would recommend is basically enclosing this a little bit more, getting rid of a lot of the rods, and replacing them with cubes, essentially making it a lot tankier, and this whole back section here is not really necessary. It's more cosmetic, and at this CPU ranking, cosmetics are a luxury that you can't exactly afford, at least to the extremity that this is. And especially since the damage is channeling from back here all the way right directly into the tank track, which is the last thing I want to bring up. Only having 2 tank tracks is fairly iffy. Now, I would recommend more if you can, possibly 3, although 4 would be ideal. If you really need to, you could size down one and have 4 of those. They also might be a little easier to protect as well. And I guess the last thing, the only offensive weapons on here are actually not that bad of a choice. I mean, there's only 2 of them, but again, at this CPU ranking, that kind of firepower, I mean, the size of the weapon-wise, it's not a bad choice. And it is fairly well-rounded, because it can hit air units, it can hit occasionally super far-off targets, not that bad mid-range, and close range. You don't really want to get into a fight at close range just because you only have 2 of them and they can be easily stripped off. Now, the last thing I would like to recommend, even though I said that before, I just thought of a few more things. This is actually the final thing. You could specialize a bit more. You could either add a 3rd laser or a 3rd nano, which is what I would definitely recommend. And all in all, I would say it's not actually that bad of a bot. Oh, you could actually free up some space here by getting rid of these lights. Just a pointer. You can add a whole new weapon on the back, which I would recommend. So, yeah, all in all, not that bad of a bot. It's a good start, just needs some changes. So, let me know what you guys think of the bot if you have tried it out for yourself. And I, of course, have been the Awesome Soul. I thank you so much for watching. So, leave your bots in the description below that you would like me to review, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.